Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode 273, Believe and Manifest. I'm Jim Kellner, your co-host and comedy hypnotist, and alongside me, we have the amazing Victoria Gallagher, our host of the show and renowned expert in the field of the law of attraction. Quick reminder, please subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss one of our important episodes. Now, in case you don't know, Victoria Gallagher is a best-selling author. She's the author of The Practical Law of Attraction. She's the founder of HypnoCloud Apps, HipTalk.com, and be sure to check out her new, finally, Believe Hypnosis app, launching very soon, probably already launched by the time you watch this, depending on when you're listening. It's going to feature 1,000 audios, 1,000, astonishing, and include many new features and provide life-changing audios for people from all walks of life about law of attraction, manifestation, business success, and so much more. The goal of our show is to inspire you to dream big, people. Live your best life. Each week, we discuss how to use manifesting, law of attraction, affirmations, meditation, and hypnosis to create the life of your dreams. Lots of tools for you to use. The subject this week, of course, again, is Believe and Manifest. Hello, Victoria.
Hello, Mr. Jim Kellner. How are you?
Loving life.
Yes, you are
Loving
looking
life.
amazing.
It's true. I've been working out. Whatever, huh? So we were talking earlier. If you have a Mac and an iPhone, they have this thing called continuity camera. You can just pair your iPhone with your Mac, and you get to use the camera on your iPhone instead of the one that's built into the Mac. And you'd think Mac would have a better webcam, but the difference is astonishing. Really, if you watch, in fact, if you watch last week's episode, you'll see a big difference.
Yeah, I have an app actually called Ecom or something like the Ecam
Mhm.
or it's something
Yep, yep.
um that does connect, but I haven't used it. And I haven't used, like, I probably did that way back when I was on like iPhone 6 or 8 or something like that, where the cameras. So anyway, but whatever you got going on there, I need to check that out because I'm on my Logitech whatever 1080. I don't even remember the name what is the name of my camera now. Logitech Brio, that's what it is. It's the Logitech Brio, and yeah, it's Epoch Cam was the thing that I had before. And did you know Snap Camera? Did you ever know about the Snap Camera? You could use that as a little plug-in with your with anything. You could use it sort of as a little plug-in, and you could use it almost like Snapchat. You have the filters and
Oh yeah.
everything, and you could
Oh,
use
fun.
it. Yeah, it was really fun, and it's gone now. Like
Oh.
they just went belly up or something. They went out of business. And so I need to actually just let it go because it's still like an app that I can see on here, and I still keep trying to use it, but it's just a yellow screen. It doesn't work anymore. It's sad. It's sad when
I,
companies you like die. So you have to
yeah,
support the companies that you like
it's true.
um before they die.
You know what's funny that you mentioned that? I remember, I used to teach this class where I taught um, older adults how to use their cell phones, and it was so rewarding. It was so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so many of them would complain that either number one, there were ads on the app, or that they had to pay for them.
Yeah.
And, and it's like, do, do they
Do you
just
not
not understand
understand how
that
business works? Like,
how do they how are they supposed to make a living if you don't have the ads on there, or you have to pay for it? I mean, there's just it's kind of we just have this idea that all apps should be free, and I don't know how that's reasonable or possible.
trust me, I have gotten one-star reviews because I charge money to upgrade the app. You actually get free stuff on the app. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in a future version, it won't be out in this version. And I would love to hear some comments on this. If you send me an email, I've been keeping this a secret for a long time, but I'm just going to let the cat out of the
Mhm.
bag. Um, that one of the things that in the future, it's not going to be on this version of the app, is that kind of like YouTube, when you watch a YouTube video, and they have sponsored ads at the beginning and you can skip them, right? So, in a future version of my app, I'm one of the ways that I'm going to monetize it is to let people watch like a 30-second ad instead of having to subscribe.
Cool.
So they can watch that paid content. There'll still be free content that's ad free, but they'll
Yeah.
be able to, actually watch a little 30-second, maybe 1 minute video, but then they'll
Mhm.
actually get to, listen to that session for free without subscribing. And so that's my answer to the people who will never subscribe, because they just don't believe in having to pay for the app. Okay, you have to do something. You got to
Right. You gotta do
support the app
something.
somehow. I can't,
Yeah.
I'm not making any money right now. I'm paying to have the app developed.
Right.
If people don't realize that. It's like this stuff costs a fortune. So you have to support the companies that you love. Otherwise, they're just gonna go away.
Yeah. You folks, people may not realize this. It takes tens of thousands of dollars
Yeah,
to make an app.
it
So,
does. Yeah.
and this is money that
And
the
then
entrepreneur has to put out first, right? Before they ever see any kind of profit.
yeah, and then if you want to actually get a bunch of people into your app,
Right. You got
I
to
mean,
market.
aside from, then you have to market your app. And marketing is, there's either free marketing, or there's paid marketing. And free marketing is like you got to make, you know, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of more content that you give
Right.
away for free.
Exactly. It's your time. So time is money. I mean, yeah, it's, I just
None of
don't
this
think
stuff
people,
is free. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, it's hard work that you're passionate about, but it's still hard
right.
work?
Exactly. And I think people just they don't understand. I mean, obviously when you go to the gas station, you got to pay for your gas, you got to pay the chef when he cooks your meal. Um,
Yeah.
we have to pay for the things that we use. And it's such, I got to tell you, I mean, Victoria, what an amazing name. What a great name that you've got. Can you can you just kind of tell us, what does the term believe mean in the context of manifestation? Because I know that's one of the reasons that you chose it, and
Yeah.
why is it kind of crucial for the manifestation process?
This word believe means so much to me because it is one of the most important yet difficult parts of the manifestation process. It is crucial to have unwavering faith in your desires. I mean, the bigger the desire, the bigger the belief you have to have. If you have a desire that you're going to get, $10 winning from a, a lottery ticket, you don't have to have that much belief in that. But if you have a desire that you're going to, create something amazing like this app or like your own business or write a book or, whatever it is, run a marathon. I mean, I equate a lot of this like manifesting, like you could really equate a lot of, you have to believe that you're going to actually cross that finish line in order to do all the things that get you prepared to cross that finish line. And so it really just means that you've got to have, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions all in alignment, with manifestation. And belief is really to me, it's like the single most important thing. I mean, you have to take action, like, so that has to actually be the most important thing, but you won't take action unless you believe. And so belief is like, it's like neck and neck with action.
And I just want to tell everybody, as I'm looking at the camera here, now that things are kind of clear, I see there's the bed in the background and all this. Guys, I'm on the road this week. That's not my bedroom. I'm on the road this week. It's my hotel room. I'm up in Leavenworth, Washington, doing some shows. So that's what you're seeing in the
You have one of
background
those
there.
signature air conditioning machines on the other
Exactly.
side.
Right. Exactly.
No one ever knows how to get that to work just right.
Oh, you're so right. You're so right. Um, so we know it's power. This belief thing is pretty cool, and it's been quoted throughout history. Um, but how can our limiting beliefs kind of hinder our ability to manifest our goals, and of course, then how do we overcome that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, those limiting beliefs, they are sneaky little buggers that the limiting beliefs, most of us are not even aware that we have limiting beliefs.
Hmm.
And that's the worst thing, is because you think, oh, I believe in my dream manifesting, but yet you don't have it yet. And you don't know why you don't have it yet. You're not really sure what steps are missing, or you say your positive affirmations all the time, or you take this action, this action, this action, and it's like, where is it already? Well, it's stuck in your subconscious mind. And that's where it is. It's stuck as a limiting belief, that is creating kind of like maybe a negative mindset, and kind of setting you up to fail, because so the first step, really is to becoming aware, is to become aware of those limiting beliefs. Like, you got to ask yourself, do I really believe, or am I just pretending to believe? And most people, I would say most people are pretending to believe, like they're really faking it till they make it, without
Hmm.
real, actual, true conviction. Like, would you, I mean, commit to this for the rest of your life? Like, would you, how much would you bet, somebody that your manifestation is really, really gonna, come true? And so you've got to, you've got to like really be honest with yourself, and you've got to learn whether you have these limiting beliefs. And once you do, you want to start to challenge those beliefs, because you can only really have the conversation with the beliefs once you know if you have them and what they are. And when you know that you have them, then you say, okay, well, is this really true? Is this true for everyone? When did I start to believe this? What's funny about this belief? Like, what, it's like you interrogate it. Have you ever, like, have you seen how people get interrogated, and when somebody starts questioning you, if somebody starts questioning you, don't you just start to develop a little bit of doubt about what you're saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's what we want to do to the belief. We want to
Mhm.
start questioning those limiting beliefs to the point where you say, I've believed this. I've believed this my whole life. And now all of a sudden, I wonder, is that really true? Because, these beliefs, they just get into our subconscious mind at such an early age. Our parents program us, our teachers program us, our friends program us. We have bad experiences that we learned how to be in these situations. And so, once you question them, you start to make them a little weak, that's when you can really now start to overcome them using, even plain old affirmations. Just start to tell yourself a different story, start to visualize yourself doing and acting the opposite way that belief would have you acting. Start to talk to yourself in different ways. I'm always so surprised, like this, all this information always feels so common sense to me, but it's not common sense to everybody.
It's true.
And I'm always so surprised, even how hypnotists talk to
Oh,
themselves.
really? Yeah. Isn't it amazing? It's like, you're a hypnotist. You should know better.
Like the limiting beliefs that they have about how much money you can make as a hypnotist, or, that, oh, the market's saturated with, this or that, or, I see hypnotists asking other hypnotists that are in different areas. It's like, how much do you charge in this area? It's like, who
Right.
cares?
Who cares?
You need
Exactly.
to create your own identity and your own business,
Right.
like how much
Yeah.
somebody else charges for their
Yeah.
service is completely irrelevant, because if you are, now we're kind of getting into the business thing, but if you're in a red ocean, okay, and you're like comparing yourself, it's like, well, I offer stop smoking, and I offer stress management, and I offer weight management, and I do all these things, and I'm just a hypnotist. um
It's true.
then yeah, you're not going to be able to charge what you want to charge. But if you like define yourself as somebody else, like, that somebody that has expertise in this particular area, and you help this particular kind of person, and you sandwich those things together, and you create a unique way of solving that person's problem, then boom, you can charge whatever it's valued at to that other person. How much is it costing them not to use your services? And that's the way you want to. Anyway, we're kind of getting a little bit off track there, because I also love, talking about, entrepreneurship and things like that. But anyway, that's, the strategies for overcoming them are, through talking to yourself in a new way, seeing yourself in a new way. And ultimately you will begin to think like and act like the person that you need to be in order to manifest what you want to manifest.
Yeah, I got to tell you, about 6 months ago, I realized something, and I think I gotta I gotta say, a lot of it's probably, doing this podcast with you and being around this information all the time. It was like, I can do anything I want. I mean, you could tell me like anything, and I'd be like, yeah. Now I may not finish it in my lifetime, depending on what it is, but yeah, I can do anything. And it was kind of a breakthrough moment when I realized it was just like this thought, I can do anything. So I think there's something else, people. Uh, Surround yourself with people and podcasts and books and all that kind of stuff that really support that idea of believing in yourself. And you just want, I mean, it's almost like brainwashing yourself, right? I mean,
It is
just
brainwashing.
really,
It's but in a
yeah,
good way. It's
in a good
very
way, right?
much
Yeah.
very. Speaking of books, on our last episode, we talked a little bit about my cat's secret to
Yes.
manifesting. So if you guys are listening to this show for the first time, you need to go back and listen to last week's episode, where I uh, you know, kind of debuted my new book called, My Cat's Secret to Manifesting, which is out on Amazon right now. And I had decided I just want to read a little piece of this book, so you can kind of get a little flavor
Cool.
of what it's all about.
Yeah.
So where it all began, the serendipitous encounter of Velvet and Victoria. It all began when I was a tiny 4-week-old kitten at a bustling animal shelter. The world seemed so big and overwhelming, and I longed for a place to call home. That's when fate brought Victoria into my life. Victoria was a kind-hearted human who had a passion for helping animals in need. She volunteered at a shelter taking care of kittens until they found permanent homes. One day she arrived at the shelter with her usual warm smile, ready to take in a group of kittens for fostering. As she walked past my enclosure, our eyes met, and something magical happened. It was as if an invisible thread of connection was woven between us. I mustered up all my kitten charm and let out the tiniest, most heart-melting meow. Victoria
Oh,
paused, and I could see the twinkle in her eyes as she gazed at me. In that moment, I knew I had worked my feline magic. Victoria couldn't resist my handsome charm. She made a subtle yet determined decision to add me to the bunch of kittens she was fostering. She had no idea that this choice would transform our lives in the most wonderful manner. As I settled into my cozy new home, I realized I had become part of a family. Victoria and I developed a deep connection. I could feel her deep love and devotion in everything she did for me and the other cats. She was my human mom. She saved me, and she would be my forever protector. As the weeks passed, I started to realize that Victoria was more than an animal lover. She had a special way of seeing the world, a way that went beyond physical senses. I soon found out that she was an author and practiced something called the law of attraction. It was like she had some sort of magical power that allowed her to attract things that she wanted in her life. Curious and intrigued about this mysterious force, I knew I had to learn more. So I would often join her in her one of her lush and cozy rooms, sitting behind her on her chair as she would speak to this mysterious glowing machine on her desk. She spoke in this electric wonder like it was a living being. She seemed to be having conversations, but no one else was in the room with us. Victoria would smile and laugh at this digital oracle. She would say things like, "You have the power to create the life you desire," or "Your thoughts create your reality," or "Believe in yourself and your dreams will come true." During these moments of presence, I began to learn about the power of your mind and manifestation.
That's adorable. Quite a love story.
It is. It
Yeah,
definitely
that's sweet. That's sweet.
is.
Can't wait to
So,
read it. Can't wait to read it. This looks really fun.
yeah, it
Uh, my
is. It's definitely fun.
my wife will love it too because she
Oh
loves
my
cats too.
God. Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes, she
she will
loves.
love it. Yeah. So Victoria, on the topic of belief,
Yeah.
do you have any specific examples, maybe a personal experience where your belief played a significant role in manifesting something in your life?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's so ironic, because I want to tell you about the app,
Yeah.
Believe. I mean, this app has taken every ounce of belief that I could possibly muster up. And there have had been so many times because just because you believe and you put something out there doesn't necessarily mean that you believe 100% of the time. A lot of times you will deal with self-doubt. A lot of times you will feel like a lot of people feel are filled with imposter syndrome. It's like, who am I to do something like this? Sometimes you'll question yourself. Sometimes you'll wonder if you've made a big mistake. Sometimes you'll just want to throw in the towel and think that it's too hard. And for me, there has just been this overwhelming, unwavering belief in this coming to fruition. And, maybe for some people, maybe just developing an app these days, everyone develops an app. It's not that big of a deal. For whatever reason, this, took on a life of its own. And it was, very, very hard at times, because I was taking on, there's a lot of features in this app there's features in this app that aren't even in other apps or the combination of them. And so, what's happened is I have been able to transform, what at, sometimes really was a lot of feeling of self-doubt, a lot of feeling like this isn't going to work. I'm going to just like, never, like, this app is never going to happen, that kind of thing. I have been able to, by now, I know that the app is live. I can't say that 100% right now because even though you're listening to this in December, the app should be launched by July 15th. And I'm pretty committed to that. Like, I'm very committed to that happening. And something really came over me in my meeting on Monday where, like, I had, I over the weekend since coming back from Ireland, just sat down with everything and looked at like, these are the things that are absolutely necessary in order to launch the app. Kind of got rid of my ego and said, it's not going to necessarily have all of the features that I had planned for this time along. We're just going to launch this app. We're going to get it out there so people can actually start enjoying it. And so I sat down, I had a 2.5 hour discussion with my development team. And after spending all this time in visualization and affirming to myself these, and just taking my attitude, and turning it around and stop focusing on what's wrong and start focusing on what's right. It just became so simple. It just like somehow or another, just that belief, it just became so simple. It's like, it's no longer like going to be this hairy mess or this complicated thing. Like all you have to do is fix these 50 things and we're going to, and it is 50 things, but they're 50 very simple things. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
and I let go of a few like little things like of perfection, like this, some of the things just to get the app out there in the public eye. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect in every single way. No app is perfect, you know? And so all that to say, it was like I had a complete new intention, even just as of this last Monday, where I sat down, had a 2.5 hour conversation with my development team. I said, we are, make no mistake, launching this app July 1st. I need you guys to just, make this happen. And I said it in the most, kind yet committed way, and just with the intention. And I actually have this other guy that is sort of like the go-between now. He's like sort of the project manager. And anyway, all that to say, yesterday, Wednesday, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I get a mid-week review update where nearly half of those 50 things that were on that list are supposedly done. Now, I haven't seen the actual build, which I'll get tomorrow on Friday, but I have a pretty good sense that, they know I mean business. And that there's just no more, like the app's a year late. And
Right.
so,
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
yeah, but I did it in the most, kind. I mean, maybe I
Yeah.
might have overstepped my bounds just a little bit, but all that to say, I got extreme belief. Like I just let myself believe that this app will launch in July, and it came through. And it really started to, here's the thing, it started to move their hands in the right direction. And I started to really believe that, you know what? My power in my mind and my heart and my energy is what moves them. And when I'm like not being clear,
Ooh. It's like this force
it is
you're
a
sending out.
force.
Yeah.
So I got in touch with, you know what? I'm doing this. I really am doing this. And it comes through my belief in this. And so all that to say, when you're listening to this, you will know that what I'm saying is true, because you will be able to go to the App Store and download my app. And you will have received email notifications from me. You will have maybe already joined my Facebook group, Believe Hypnosis, by now, and you will have access to this app. And, there's more free content available in this app than I've ever had in any of my other apps. So, for those of you who, just want to check it out, like you don't have to pay anything up front. And then also, if you wanted to have 100% access to the whole app, you get a 14-day free trial. to access the whole thing. So, if you sign up for the annual subscription, and when you sign up for the annual subscription, which brings your cost down to like $6.50 a month. Now, how many times do you order coffee buy
Yeah,
coffee or whatever? So what do you spend $6.50 a month on? You know, think about
yeah.
that. Well, is changing the most important things that you need to have belief and faith in yourself on not worth $6.50 a month? If not,
Yeah,
don't listen to this podcast because
exactly. Yeah, you're missing the point.
yeah, because you're missing the whole point of life here. I mean, it's like, you've got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of material available to you, in this. So, I believe, in the power of this app. And I think, it's going to go to big, big places. I see it on the news. I'm just like, I'm exploding my belief. So that's my personal experience, how belief has played a role to long story short, or long story long.
Well, let me just let's look at this realistically, though. Victoria Gallagher is the queen of manifestation, right? I mean,
Yes.
you've got decades of experience in
Yes.
doing this and getting that
Yeah.
belief. Now,
Hmm.
there's folks out there that they've not been doing this very long.
Yeah.
Maybe they haven't even started. So, can you give them some techniques or maybe some exercises that they can use to strengthen their belief in their manifestation abilities?
Absolutely. Yeah. Sometimes I take for granted and forget I am an advanced student
Right.
in the law of
Advanced
attraction,
manifester. Right. Yeah.
advanced manifester.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you are just now starting the journey to practicing law of attraction, to practicing manifestation, the very first thing that I, advise you to do, and this is, to me, it's like it's one of the toughest little breakthroughs I think a person needs to make. I mean, even in my Believe Hypnosis group, I will tell you, I've asked people like, tell me about your goals and stuff like that. And they're very vague, and so it's going to be
Yeah.
my job, really to help people to understand the difference between like what is a very clear, well-defined intention and what is like, da, da, da. The more clear you can be with what you want, just own it. I think that's one of the things that blocks manifestation from people is because they're not really willing to put it out there what they really want. It's almost like maybe they feel like they don't deserve it or they don't know how to get it. So they're not willing to get crystal clear on it. I say, screw all that, get crystal clear on it. Because what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose by owning what you want? So, like, that's the very, very first step is just to own it. Just come out with it. Just be bold. Be bold. That's the first acronym. I can't remember my whole believe acronym off the top of my head at the moment, but being bold, being brave, to state out loud what it is that you want. State it to yourself. You don't necessarily need to state it to anybody else. But if you have a coach or you have a support group like Believe Hypnosis, then definitely that is a place where we're all, and if anybody doesn't, they'd get kicked out of the group, but we're all supporting each other. We're all there to say, go, we're all there to be cheerleaders of each other. So join a group like that. That would be another thing, is to get that support. Like once you really, really know what you want, then get support, get somebody to not validate, but to appreciate, what it is that you are going for, and allow them to dream with you, allow them to have the vision with you, and create some mantras or some affirmations around that, something that you can continue to state to yourself. So these are, some of the things. I'm going to say visualization, of course. But then of course, you're gonna want to reprogram your mind. And that's where the app really comes into play, because I mean, there's in the realm of like, manifesting desires. I mean, there's like going to be so many different programs in there that are very and I do have a tendency to cater to in the app entrepreneurial spirits, like that's my target audience. Like I've had to like go ahead and just say, these are the people that I'm speaking to. My target audience are entrepreneurial people. And so if you're an entrepreneur, I mean, I've got things in there. I've got programs in there to help you to break through to a $10,000 a month, which is like one of the things that, people always have like the hardest time, getting to for the first time. So anyway, all that to say, in a roundabout way, um, know what you want, get support, um, start to formulate some positive daily affirmations that you say to yourself, use visualization, and you got to reprogram your mind through hypnosis.
Now I know. So so of course you have books out. You have on law of attraction, believing these kind of things, and I know you teach the law of attraction workshop, for instance, and
Hmm, hmm.
you teach a lot of people. What kind of common challenges or obstacles are people facing? I know you must get messages from people, and how do you help them overcome that?
It's, I think probably the biggest thing that, well, the probably one of the biggest things, that people deal with is self-doubt and fear. Like they just, I think one of the things too that stops people from getting clear is that self-doubt. So it's sort of like a cycle of one thing feeding into another. Like they won't get clear because they are living in fear and self-doubt. And then, but the fear and the self-doubt feeds into further lack of clarity. And, so these two things really play into each other. And then the other thing is just taking action. People have a hard time staying focused and having it's the craziest thing. But just scheduling time in your day to do the things that are going to actually make you the success you want to be. That is probably one of the biggest things I help people to do, is to actually set that time, aside for themselves, and to take the time to do all of the routines. They just kind of like let the day do them. And when you sort of are like blowing in the wind and like letting the day just take you over, you're not moving forward toward your dreams. You've got to own what you want. You've got to believe in what you want. You've got to structure your life and your day around the routines that are going to help you to be successful in getting there. And so I think those are the main obstacles, of course, the lack of belief and the negative thinking and constantly putting themselves down, ridiculing themselves, focusing on past failures, and or even like looking around at other people who are you looking at the wrong people, focusing on the wrong things, focusing like on, oh, this person, um, you know, uh, has all this success. Why can't I be like that? And asking the wrong questions around that. I was like, of course you can be that way. You can be anything you want. You just have to, like you said, you can be anything you want. You can do anything you want. There is a structure. to that success. There is a way to make that happen. So you get the idea in your head, you just, you've got to grow that idea. You got to let that seed plant into your subconscious mind and let yourself have it. You deserve it. You're worth it. And you owe it to yourself. More than likely, the gifts that you have to share in this world, somebody else needs that gift. Like, what if I wasn't acting on my gift? We've gotten so many wonderful comments and reviews and things like that. Well, if I just thought like, oh, Lewis Howes, I mean, he's got like 1 million followers. Like, he's already doing this. Tony Robbins is already doing this. Mel Robbins is already doing this. All these people are already, all these people have a successful podcast. No, but well, you know what? There's something that people like about, I don't know what it is, but there's something that they
Yeah.
like about the Power of Your Mind podcast. I mean, we have over
Right.
40,000 downloads every month. So people are listening to this. I'm just owning that something in me people like. I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to keep doing what I do. I'm not saying I do it any better than anybody else. I just do it Victoria's way because I have owned that I have a gift. Maybe it's my voice, maybe it's the way I talk, maybe it's the way I don't articulate myself that well sometimes or go on and on. Who knows what it is, but if I thought like everybody else thought, and said, I don't, no one needs this, then we wouldn't have a podcast. I wouldn't have all the things that I have.
Yeah. That is interesting, and I talk with my business students about that. That there's room for everyone because you'll find your tribe, and so
Yeah.
not everybody resonates with Lewis or Tony Robbins. I mean, so yeah, there's definitely room
Yeah.
for everybody.
There really is.
Yeah.
There really is. I like that.
Yeah.
Find your tribe. And the more true you can be to yourself, the
Yeah.
the easier that's going to be. The more you tell yourself the truth and you
Yeah.
act from integrity and authenticity, the more people are going to align with that. Anytime I've really kind of tried to act like something I'm not, or like emulate someone else, or anytime I've ever like just kind of gone away from Victoria, um people haven't really resonated with that. They can feel that, they can pick up on the fact that I'm not really being myself. As soon as I get down to being my funky little self, then I just that's when I become lovable to others.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's amazing. I sometimes think the same thing. Why would they buy my recording, or why would they listen to my podcast, or why would they do this? I mean, yeah, something. One of the things, we've talked a lot about belief, and believing and everything. So could you explain, how does belief connect with the idea of aligning with the frequency, or the vibration maybe of our desires in that whole manifestation process?
Yeah, well, believing, what it does is it helps you to get into a positive mindset ultimately. And that positive energetic state is what the vibration is all about. So having a strong belief is ultimately what's going to align. It gets you into alignment. The more in alignment you are, like with your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, that is an energy. That is an energy vibration that attracts. And that is,
Hmm.
when you're aligned, you're going to attract more effortlessly.
Hmm. Easy enough.
That I'm very succinct on.
I really love when you give your really specific and kind of practical techniques and exercises. Are
Mm.
there any techniques or practices that can help individuals strengthen their belief on a subconscious level? Because that's where it
Yeah.
really matters, right? I mean,
It
you, you, you get the belief up here, in the conscious mind, and it goes away tomorrow.
Exactly. And that's where, so I do still say, on the conscious level, you want to have your positive, empowering self-talk because, we spend most of our time at the conscious level. But always take time every day, once or twice a day in the morning, evening, maybe even in the afternoon to reprogram your mind through, a 20-minute, 15-minute, 30-minute hypnosis session that's designed to do exactly that, reprogram your subconscious mind, through, visualization exercises as well. Visualization is a wonderful way to get direct communication with the subconscious mind. You don't even necessarily need to do hypnosis. You can do your own self hypnosis through taking yourself into a relaxed state, visualizing, saying a few empowering things. It's harder, it is challenging to do it that way. And so that's why I recommend, doing recordings or, doing professional hypnosis with a professional hypnotist. But definitely every day. It's not a one time, one and done. A lot of times,
Mm,
like people like
right.
want to have a
Yeah.
quick fix. It's not a one and done. You need to, it took you years to get these negative programs.
Yeah.
What if you were able to undo what you did over years of time, in a few weeks, maybe a few months?
That's one of the most frustrating misconceptions about hypnosis is people, especially people who watch my stage show, and they'll say, "Well, if you can make Taylor Swift dance around, or somebody dance around like they're Taylor Swift, then you
Oh,
can
you
help me
had
quit
Taylor Swift in
smoking." Oh,
a
of course, yeah. Um, Shake it off. So, so you can help me to quit smoking, and it should happen just that quick. And I always tell them, look, tomorrow they're not going to think they're Taylor Swift, right? It's not going to stick.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People think that hypnosis is like this magical cure that just happens in one session. And especially if you're listening to recordings and stuff, it's going to take some time, but it's easy though. I mean, you take a nap and you listen to it. You sit down and relax and listen to it. It's very easy.
Yeah. And using that exact same example, if you had that person going and becoming Taylor Swift every single night for,
Right.
the next 90 days, they might
Right.
actually start to
Right.
doubt their own
Exactly.
personal existence. Wait, am I Taylor Swift or am I Victoria
Ooh,
Gallagher?
this might be something fun. Good idea, Victoria. Now, this final point. We all face setbacks and delays and things like this, and I know
No,
it's easy to get frustrated. Yeah,
never. Never gonna
and
happen.
people get depressed about this. They give up completely on their dreams because whatever, they have to work, a different job. They lose their job, or they, whatever, things happen all the time. So how can individuals maintain that belief, that faith in the manifestation, when things are going wrong?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, people ask me all the time, it's like, what keeps you going? Like, why haven't you given up by now
Right.
on, on
Stubborn.
this? Like, and I think what it is really about seeing the ultimate bigger picture, because ultimately, I like and this is just my advice for all of you is to focus on the bigger picture, not the timing. The timing is irrelevant. I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, there's no real such thing as time. It's just a made up thing that we all just decided, to make sense of when things happen. But so just forgive yourself too, like for that it didn't happen in the amount of time that you think it's supposed to happen in. Just stay connected. Just continue to practice, loving yourself, self care, getting inspired. Like I listen to Elon Musk a lot because I think, oh my God, his projects are
Right.
so much bigger and more important than mine, in a
Right.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I listen to some of his setbacks and I think, okay, this is pretty minuscule. in relation to what he's going through. So I just look, like get inspired by other people and other success stories and, and just be, and I think one of the biggest things is just to commit to have it, and continue to pursue it until dot dot dot, like until it happens. And then, all of it just kind of, all of the setbacks, all the delays, that it doesn't mean anything, because you will have whatever it is that you dedicate yourself to and commit to and believe in.
Every successful person you talk to will tell you they had many failures, many setbacks. You can't become successful without failure. In fact, I'm part of a mastermind, and one of our rules for the mastermind is that every month you have to bring a failure. You have
Oh,
to bring a failure, and a win. But it's that idea that if we're not out there failing, we are not moving forward. We're just not.
it's true. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. You do, and the thing is like failure isn't really it's not the end, it is
Yeah,
just giving you, it's really just a part of the roadmap ultimately,
it is.
it's just pointing you in another direction, saying, okay, this direction, you went left, now let's go right.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Victoria. Another fun-filled episode for sure.
For sure. Thank you so much, Jim. And thank you, listeners, for tuning into the Power of Your Mind podcast. Hope you found it informative and inspiring. Please do share this podcast with your friends, family. Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review. Download the Believe app. I'm just going to say it's
Do it.
available right now. Download the Believe app. Go to believehypnosis.app. You can subscribe there, find out more about it there. Until then, keep using the power of your mind to reach your goals, live the best life ever of abundance and joy. Talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Victoria. Thanks, everybody.